Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Higher View podcast. I'm just kidding. It's not the morning.
I was like, hold on, what?
No, because last time we talked about we're going to wake up on Saturday morning. And we didn't.
I told you. It's all right. I said.
But welcome to the Higher View podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the creative, the outside thinker, and the believer. I am Jonathan, your host, and I am here with my beautiful partner in life and co-host, Alexus.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing good since you said that. Brownie points.
Hey guys, if this is your first time to the podcast, we just want to welcome you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching or listening, whatever platform you are watching or listening on. We ask that you subscribe, follow, rate us, whatever you can do. Greatly appreciate that. It just brings us up to the top of wherever we are. And thank you in advance. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to think last time. Oh yeah, I was
talked about the bread.
The bread was amazing.
The bread was amazing.
And I thought y'all should know I made a cake last night because
No. Like, literally, ever since that day of last week of making cake, you have not stopped baking every day.
the bread?
Yeah, the bread. Yeah, since the bread, you have not stopped baking, and I'm all here for it.
I mean, other stuff didn't turn out good. I tried to bake some muffins. I don't know what happened.
You're trying.
I don't know why.
You're
It
still
just
baking.
didn't work out.
You're
But
still
the
baking,
cake,
which is completely new.
The cake, yes. I want to keep baking because it's just so delicious.
Amazing.
Shout out to Lib again.
Yep. Shout out to Lib again.
It's a chocolate coffee cake.
Yeah, you guys will meet Lib one day.
So,
sure.
Oh yeah, when we start having guests. And by the way, is this the 38th episode?
This is the 38th episode.
So we have like 12 more?
Yeah.
Until the 50th episode?
We'll see how it plays out. You know, with the news that we just got the other day, we'll see how it plays out with ending this season. We'll just see. You know, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Because, let's just break it to them. We are moving. We just got approved for a new home rental.
Yeah, but it's still part of the goal.
Yes, we would like to hit 50 episodes still. That is part of the goal. We actually haven't talked about this. But I don't know. You know, we'll see how it plays out. I don't know how things will be set up. But it may be easier just to end it a little early. Maybe on episode 40, 45, whatever it may be.
Well, how many weeks do we have? I actually really want to look at this.
Because I know we'll still be moving out. We have a whole month still.
Yeah, so we have like 1, 2, 3. We'll have about 4 more episodes then. So that'd be 39, 40, 41, 42 episodes ending it. So we might end it a little early because I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, so we'll see. Because we'll have to have a whole new studio.
Yeah.
Our
so
studio
well
will be tore down. You know.
Start fresh.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll start having guests on. And I'm sure once we get our new studio up, we'll have like another maybe 1 or 2 episodes of just us.
Yeah. I mean, it'll still be in there with just us, you know.
Yeah. But we're going to have like a list of people we want on here.
For sure.
So I'm really excited for that. That's going to be so cool.
So we actually just got approved for a home, and it's right by the lake. It's by a lot of nature. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2.5 bath.
Yeah.
With a yard.
We have 3 toilets.
for no reason.
3 toilets.
But it's been great. It's been great news. It's such a blessing for us.
So you have a toilet?
I have a toilet. Eva has a toilet. Where everybody's going to be pooping all day. It's going to be great. No, but it's just, we're very excited about this. It's such a blessing. We've been wanting a bigger space. We've been wanting a yard for Ava. So it's just been great.
She doesn't even know what she's in for.
She's going to be ready though.
I literally talked to her. I'm like, you don't even know what's about to happen, dog.
You get better. Like, you don't even know.
You don't even know. You know that your life's about to change.
Quit acting like that. You don't even know.
But other than that, I am doing great. I've been very honored to be able to pour into people's lives and try to be there for them. It definitely fills me up personally to be there for people because it kind of reminds me how far that we've came.
Yeah.
We've definitely came a long way already. Before we got married, our counselors literally said y'all have gone through like a 30-year marriage would go through and before you're married. So it's like we've definitely been through it, and I'm just thankful that when couples come along and they need us to pour into them and be there for them in their hard season, that we know what to say because we've been there. And I have to have a little flashback like, oh yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling. That is not anything new. You guys are going to get through it. We're winning for you guys. So
I'd say it fills me up more than ever to be able to help somebody like that. Like, I know on the other side, I'm helping somebody, like giving them advice, whatever it may be, like even just being an ear to listen to, or being an ear to talk to, what I mean. But it fills me up more than it fills them up. You know,
yeah.
like it rewards me greater than I could ever help somebody. And it's a great exchange. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
like that exchange.
Yeah.
But how are you before we get into this episode?
I'm good. I think I've had a pretty good week at work. Tomorrow I'm actually working from home, so I'm actually kind of relieved right now. Then I don't work on Friday because we're going to Odessa. My little brother's graduating.
Hold on a second.
What?
Let them know what your Caesar said.
What my Caesar said? I have a friend that's at work. His name's Caesar. His name is Caesar, and I brought him a piece of cake that Lex made because me and him always share food. I don't know. We just kind of have a relationship like that. It kind of just formed very weird, very random. I don't know. He just started bringing me food. I brought him food. Like, I come to him today. I'm like, hey, bro, I got something for you to try today. It's like it's in the fridge. Second drawer, not drawer. Shelf. Yeah, second shelf. He's like, all right, bet. He goes in there and tries it. He comes back. He's like, pretty good. Like, pretty good. He's like, he's like a bigger guy. he cooks very, very good.
Really?
He's a very, very good cook. That's why, like, I love trying his food. Like, it's probably why, like, in my head, I always bring him food because I want him to bring me food. But what he said, he's like, tell your wife she should open a bakery. I was like, well, actually, that was her first time baking. And he was like, He's a funny guy, dude. He's a funny guy.
So, should I open a bakery? Maybe one day my salon will have a kitchen.
Alexus Bakery. Alexus Bakes.
And then you can order. It can have you can get coffee and muffins over there before you come get your appointment or while you're waiting. Oh, that's a good idea.
Dang.
Ooh.
No,
I'll keep that in my business plan.
All right. What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? I'm just joking. How to joke around a little bit.
We could talk about whatever, but
Yeah.
I know you have something that has been, put in
Boiling.
your path, boiling and baking in the oven. So, what's been on your conscience lately?
Closing the gap.
Closing the gap.
Yeah.
So, where do you get this concept from? Closing the gap.
I feel like we can go in a lot of directions
Recently.
in this, so I'm not gonna say excited because I say that every single episode.
She's been studying her wording. You're doing great, babe.
Thank you. So closing the gap. So when I think about that, when it comes to your business or when it comes to what is the next level you want to get to in life, like how much more do you want in your life, and what is causing the gap between now and that thing, whatever that is for you. So for me, it's, maybe certain areas in my business, I'll just say that, or wanting to just be more disciplined in my walk with God, in certain areas with that. Or maybe it's my routine or new habits I want to form. So if I want to have new habits and have healthy habits and a new routine, I need new things in my life. I recognize that.
Same.
It feels very good to recognize that about myself because before it was like, why can't I just stick to the same routine? Why can't I just be that person that's so organized? And it's like, that's not how I'm wired. I need newness. I need something new. So now when I'm know that about myself, now I can say, okay, what season am I in? Oh, I'm in a season where I get to sleep in a little longer now. Before,
Nice.
I had to wake up at 4:45 in the morning because I was driving you to work. I wanted a little bit time to myself before I have to get up and start right away and all these things. But now I get to go to sleep. I do wake up sometimes and make you coffee or get your lunch ready. And so now I'm kind of looking at that part, do I really want to keep waking up, and just going straight to that? Or do I want to stay up, or do I want to go back to sleep? So, just looking at your season that you're in. So what is causing the gap between me making that decision? Stuff like that. And then what is causing the gap between me not being able to succeed in certain areas of my life or wanting to level up in certain areas?
So would you say more on a physical level more on like a mental level?
I would say mental level. I guess it could be both.
Yeah. Yeah, for
It's all
sure.
connected.
I think one thing that could be a gap closer, so to speak, like you're talking about, is recognizing that you need newness. You know, like we need, me and you are very similar in that area. Like we need something new to keep us refreshed, keep us going, keep us on the go, keep us like inspired. Like we can't just stay with the same schedule. And I love that about us. I love that because we're always getting something new. We're always learning something new. We're always getting something developed that we haven't experienced. But if we didn't have, you know, something new and changing up our schedule, getting a new home, like stuff like this changing up, we're just going to be feeling like, okay, like I can't get to my next chapter. I feel a little bit stuck. Like I feel like I'm in the mud. I can't get out. So realizing that is actually closing the gap. That is one of those, it's an example right there. Like you're closing the gap, realizing that I need change. That's closing the gap right there.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's very rewarding. It is like, it kind of feels rewarding to notice that. And also when you said that, a part of me was thinking yes, but I think there could be a little side effect to that area because it's like we also need to be disciplined. Like you want to finish the season you weren't before instead of just trying to create new habits and create something new before you even started the other thing. So I think there was, I forget what podcast this was that we talked about, but it was like, try to focus on like start easy pretty much. Like don't live in a fantasy thinking that you can take on all this stuff.
Right.
You're not, if you want to write a book, don't say, oh, I'm going to write 3 books this month. Like that's not going to happen if you never wrote one book before.
Right.
So be like realistic, start easy. And so it's like, where can I start risk, like small risk, not big risk. So if you want to start like investing or something, you're not going to be like, oh, I can literally just put all this money to the side right now and just start investing tomorrow. Like I recently wanted to start day trading. I got like really into it. But then I was thinking, I was like, wait, like I have other priorities I need to set in place first. Maybe I can start putting $1 to the side here and there. But I'm not going to just have all these hundreds of dollars right now. Like, let's be realistic.
Right.
But maybe that's something I can start working towards and being disciplined about. Hey, instead of going to buy that $3 muffin every Saturday, maybe I could put that $3 to the side. So I almost bought a tea today. Guess what? I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't. Now I should put that $3 to the side.
You should. I told you that. Every time you feel an urge to go buy something, just be like, nope, not doing that. Put in some savings.
It's like, do I really need that right now or how am I going to live? So it's just little things like that. So I kind of want to also talk about the discipline because I think that could be a gap between where you're trying to level up to.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a balance to it. Like you're saying, having the discipline of not just starting one thing and then going on to the next because you just want something new. And not finishing every single thing that you start. So now you're left with a bunch of open-ended things that you've started. And now you're in a position where you're just like kind of chaotic because you don't seem like you can finish anything. And you're in the same position. You can't get out of the mud because you didn't finish anything when you started. So I think this is something that's been heavy on my heart lately that I've spoken to you already. But just because you feel it doesn't make it right. You know, and that's kind of like the same thing that's going on with the world right now. Everybody's feeling like I'm this gender, I'm this pronoun, I feel like this, so call me this. If I'm a boy and I feel like a girl, then that must be true. But just because you feel it doesn't make it true. And the Bible even tells us, like it's very clear, like don't lean on your own understanding. The heart is the most deceiving. So don't lean on that feeling that you get. Just because you feel it doesn't make it absolutely true. So we can start stuff like this and we can have things that, like having new things in our path to keep us refreshed, to keep us inspired. But we can't start one thing and go and go and go when we feel discouraged, when we feel like hard time coming. It's a struggle to keep doing this. Now we feel like, okay, I need something new. I just feel like this is a waste of my time. It's not worth the struggle. It doesn't make it true. That doesn't make it right. Like we still have to have that discipline. It is good to finish things. It is proper to finish things. That's being consistent. You know, we've had a whole episode about being consistent. And if you can't be consistent, that's going to trickle into every single thing that you do.
Yeah,
Even
I love that you said
everything.
that, because that was my next thing I wanted to say, was I'm recognizing if you're not disciplined in one thing, then, I mean, if you're not disciplined in all the things you're doing, then you being disciplined in one thing is just like, oh, that was so loud, so sorry. But I feel like it leaks in every area of your life. So I heard somebody say, like, I'm going to be disciplined to keep up with my home. Like, I'm going to be disciplined to make sure my housework is good. So when I leave that house that day, I'm not worried about in the back of my head that I have cleaning to do when I get home. Like, wouldn't it be so much better to keep up with things, have things done in the morning before you head out? That way it's not in the back of your mind all day long. Oh, great, when I get home, I have a load of laundry or dishes to do. Like, if we were to just get a nice rhythm in, we can close that gap of stress over cleaning. Like, if we get good habits in, we can close that gap. And they also said, what did they say? I know it was Erwin. I fixed myself.
Erwin.
But Aaron,
Yes.
his son,
Yes.
mentioned about the car. Like, when I get into your car, what did he say?
Your car is a direct representation of how your life is.
Yeah.
How clean your car is a direct representation of how your life is.
Crazy.
If you get in your car and you're kicking around water bottles or trash on the floor, it tells me exactly how your life is.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, your home, like, it's like, don't you feel so much better when everything's just where it needs to be?
Yeah.
Just is. So close that gap, let's start new habits. And so I'm really speaking to myself right now. But what is something, so actually I'm about to put you on the spot. You ready?
Pick my brain.
Pick your brain. So I've been recognizing this and I have not said anything to you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say it right now to you.
Put me on the spot.
So you're reading with, like, finishing books.
Yeah.
So I want to just mention that because I feel like there's a little gap that needs to be closed and for you to be finishing your books and hit the goals that you want to hit.
Yeah. I think I have fallen away from the habit of reading. I actually did start a book recently that I didn't tell you about that I got from work. I've been reading that. I mean, I read like a little bit of the first chapter. I just haven't been able to consistently do it because I've been doing computer work during my lunch. But that is something that I want to keep doing. And I have that other book, Crazy Faith, that I still want to finish. It's been hard for me to find consistent energy in the mornings to sit down and just read and actually like take in what I'm taking in, because I know my day that's about to come up through my work day, it's going to require a lot of mental energy. And I know this. Like,
Wait, what'd you say?
Like when I wake up in the mornings, I know when I go to work, it's going to require a lot of mental energy. So the last thing I want to do is put my brain to work when I wake up. You know, like that's my time to like put my feet down, get my grounding. Like,
And it's early.
yeah, it's very early. So I don't know. I haven't really found my area to do that yet.
And then it's like at night, we're ready to just tap out.
Yeah. But it's just part of the discipline.
Yeah.
You know, like just like we're talking about, if I can't finish it, then that's just showing the discipline that's in my life. Like it's going to trickle in other places as well. So I really just have to be able to close that gap would be to find a space where I can sit down and focus, to find a space where I can sit down and actually take in what I'm going to be reading and have a designated time for it and be disciplined to actually finishing it. That would be closing the gap to that, to reading at least. But I think another thing that I could also close the gap in, or I am closing the gap in right now, when not even thinking about it, but now that we're talking about this subject, it's kind of reminding me of the situation. And with work, there is tons of opportunity to move up in my job that I work at right now. Like this company is still a baby. It's still growing rapidly. It's insane how fast it's growing. And when you have a boat in water, there's just the picture, like there's boats sitting in the water. As the water rises, the boats rise. That's kind of how this company is. Like right now, it's kind of at like a beginner, intermediate phase, not even halfway yet. So as this company grows, I'm a boat on the water right now. As this company goes up and up, I'm going to go up with the boat. And I know that there's room and they're looking for people that they can promote, people that they can use for higher roles. So knowing that, I'm going to close the gap. I'm going to be myself, especially more now, because I know that they're searching for people. They're wanting to grow this company. I want to better this company. Like, I want it to be easier for me to work there. Like, I want my job to be easier. So I'm coming up with ideas. I'm coming to my bosses with ways that we can fix things, like ways that we can make things more efficient. Yesterday, I didn't even tell you, but I came to my operations manager and I literally came up with a whole new position within our department to make things better, because there's a lot of things that are missed right now. There's a lot of things that people are confused on. So I literally came up with a position of being like an inside man, of being a communicator within the coordinators, because there's nobody that can communicate right now. Everybody feels like everybody's just confused right now, and there's just no person to communicate it to. So I was like, we need somebody to be like an umbrella or a safety net. And we're all like one team going in one direction, but there's no one behind catching the pieces that are getting left behind. And I came up with that. I wrote down like the things that this position would do, and I presented it to them. This is me closing the gap to get to a higher place where I want to be. Babe. You know, so that's me realizing that there's a gap. Right now, I'm not where I want to be. You know, like I'm at a lower level right now. I'm at an entry level, not a lower level, but an entry level. And I want to be higher up in this company. So I'm going to close this gap. I'm going to make every single stride that I can to get to a higher seat in this company. Oh, that's me like taking steps and strides to closing the gap.
So awesome, babe. I had no idea.
Yeah. I knew a lot. I do tons of stuff.
So, I mean, it's very understanding when you have all that going on at work, and then you're trying to come home, and then you're trying to build your business, your side business, and then you're trying to keep up with your reading and educating yourself. But it's almost like that's what I was saying, like maybe be more realistic. Maybe be more, what can I finish in the season I am? I think it's okay sometimes to have a goal in the beginning of the year and then realize, okay, I can get to that goal, but right now this kind of season that I'm in isn't allowing me to finish one book a month.
Yeah.
Maybe I should dedicate, okay, what day of the week am I less, or maybe have a schedule where it's like, I want to read at least 2 times a week. And that's it. Instead of trying to make it every single day. Like, yeah, I'm going to get my scripture in, my little daily read, my whatever you need to do. But when it comes to reading your motivational books or your education books, your entrepreneur books, like twice a week or one day a week, like make it so realistic where you can do that.
Yeah.
You absolutely can do that.
For sure.
It's like close the TV off, once a week and read. Like, I know I like to read before we go to sleep sometimes. So, but it just depends on the night. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to think. I don't want to process. I just want to go to sleep. So,
yeah.
And I think there's a study saying like we can only really go a few hours strong. Like you have to have like rounds of things. Like, I can go hard at work or hard at accomplishing things for 3 hours or 4 hours straight. Then I need to take a break. And then I can maybe go for another 3 hours or 4 hours instead of trying to go all day long. So
yeah, it's proven. You're only going to get like 4 hours of productivity every day, like straight productivity. And it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, it's just the standard these days. But to work 8 hours straight, you're not going to get that.
You're really just
you're getting half of that, and the rest of the hours you're there, you're just acting like you're working really.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unrealistic, but it's just how America is. America, welcome.
I think for me, closing the gap is really, I want to be more intentional and diligent of looking at the season that I'm in and having a schedule for myself. Like, I love, I know what I love to do. I know what I want to accomplish. But I think we need goals to focus on and to accomplish. I think if you're not having any goals, if you're not having anything you're keeping your mind towards, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to stay. And I think I remember in the beginning of this year, I had goals that I was working towards. I had certain things in my back of my mind that I knew, okay, like this is my goal in my business. This is my goal here. And it's like recently I haven't really thought about those goals. I'm really just trying to get my feet above the water and trying to get all caught up with these habits that I formed. And it's like, okay, I want better habits. Like, I want to feel energetic and excited for these things I'm working towards instead of just going with the waves. I would say the season I'm in, I kind of got back into going with the waves and just trying to get things done and not really focusing on the things that I want to water. Like, I have seeds planted in areas, but I need to water them more. Right now, they're starting to dry out a little bit.
So the endpoints that you have set in your head that you want to get to, do you feel like the gap between you and those endpoints are having those goals? Or do you feel like there is another gap that you need to close? Is it mentally, is it spiritually, is it physically? Is there something else that would allow you to get closer to taking steps to your endpoint?
I think really like my season is changing, like stretch and grow. Starting to take a huge step back from that. I'm about to only go to one day, and then I'll be like on team support, and I can pick up if I want to or need to. But mostly I don't have that demanding like, oh, you need to be here from 9:30 to 12 p.m. and then right after that I'm going to the salon and taking in a client, and then I get home and we're cooking dinner, and it's just like, where's all my time to even think? Like I think the gap needs to be I need to create thinking space for myself. This season, I mean, I need to sit down and look and have my journal, have these things in front of me, the computer, and have that thinking space. I need to provide that creative thinking space for me to come up with ways to get to those certain goals. So that's closing the gap for me.
I see a picture of like a flag, and I'm only using a flag because you always use the example of going with the waves or going with the wind, wherever the wind blows. Emotional. You know, like you can be a little more on the emotional side, and it's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You're a woman. You have a lot of feelings. I respect it.
Hey,
I'm cool with it.
can be my favorite.
A flag, yeah, absolutely. A flag blows with the wind. I'm just talking about a flag, it has no pole, just flying in the air, and there's a lot of wind. It's going whichever direction it's blowing. But once it has a pole in it, then it stays in that position and it flows still, but it has meaning. You know, it's not just something flapping in the air. It actually has meaning and it represents something now. Because when you pass the Texan flag, when you pass the United States, United States flag, you know exactly what that means. But if you were to pass a flag that's just whirling in the air, like it's
not going
to mean much. You're like, what the heck is that in the air? But if it has a pole and it's stationary and it has the pinpoint, then you know exactly what it means. It represents something. So I think that would be something that you can focus on. Pinpointing an area in your life, like you said, like having that time to think, having that time to actually ground yourself to get to where, you know, you're trying to get your endpoint. And then you're stationed and you're representing exactly what you want to represent.
When you say that to me, because my goal is bringing heaven down on earth. Like my goal is, God, how do you want to be in my life? You know, how can my life help others? Like I've always, since I was a kid, it was always, what do I want to do with my life is helping. Like I remember saying, I want to be a counselor. I want to be this. I always just wanted to help people. So my heart is, God, how can I help people? And I'm also very creative. So when I like think about that, I'm like, my pole is like my foundation in God, my foundation in Jesus and who he is in me and what he's doing in my life. So it's like, are you talking more about like spiritually like that? Or do you think that could be a little bit
personal?
Like I need to have more of like is it more like a directional place? Like for a pinpoint or what this pole means? Like does it need to be more directional? Like, oh, this is, for example, let's use my salon, like pretty much like a mission statement. Like, is that what my pole needs to be? Like a mission statement of my business, or what is the value system of this area that I'm trying to work on? Or is it my foundation in God?
I don't think that it would be the way I'm spitting it. I don't think I'm not surrounding this around your relationship with God or in any direction. The way I'm placing it as is like, this is more of your like personal mind, your human like self. Like you actually have to have some self-conscience to understand, like, I need this for my brain because this is how my brain works. I need to set myself a time in the day. I need to set myself I need to schedule a time in the day for myself to be alone, think about stuff, and just process things, like just so I can operate how I operate.
Really? Yeah.
So I see it as more of like a personal thing than anything else, because your relationship with God, it's always going to be there. That's your foundation. Like it's who you are.
Yeah.
It's what you've been built on. It's what you're building on. But there's also a part of grounding who you are personally and understanding that you work a certain way and nobody else can understand that besides you. That's for you to figure out. You know, it's for you to understand.
Ooh, that's good. That's so good, because it's so true. And I think people are getting so lost in comparison. And that just feels heavy on my heart right now, because it's like you spend all this time on looking at other people's accomplishments, looking at other people's stuff on social media. And then you are getting like cloudy of like how you work, what's going on with you. It's all depends on who you follow to and what you're looking at. But it's like, how do I work? Like, I don't work like that. Like, you work a certain way that nobody else works, nobody else processes, understands in life, only you. So close the gap. I love that.
Yeah.
I think we got to wrap this up, but
yeah, I don't think there's one specific roadway to do this and you'll close the gap. I think there's steps and different things for everybody. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's in a different position in life. So I think you have to go and find the gaps that you need to close. And I think until we close the gaps, then our endpoints that we have in our head, the endpoints that we want for us personally in our lives, are going to be further and further and further than ever, until we close those gaps, until we find the things that are keeping us away from them. If we don't find those things, then we're never going to get to our goals. So find your gap.
Yeah.
Find your gap.
Find your gap, because how much more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, are you people that want life to be easy? Like, you're not. Life is hard, and you're not gonna get anywhere if you want life to just be easy. And it's gonna be harder when hard things come up. Like, take those hard things as a opportunity to, close the gap and level up and have more in life.
Yeah. The greatest people in the world look for the hardest challenges, not how to get out of them. So.
Ooh.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to us, watching us, whatever you're doing. Much love to you guys. Close the gaps. We love you. Hope this message touched you in some way. Until then, we will see you guys next week. See things from a higher view, and we love you. Peace out.
Peace out.